David Viscott said that the purpose of life is to discover your gift. The work of life is to develop it. And the meaning of life is to give your gift away. Now, this saying has been confused with being said by Picasso, and it's even been attributed to William Shakespeare himself, but there has been no evidence to substantiate that Shakespeare said this or that Pablo Picasso said this either. But there is sufficient evidence to suggest that David Viscott said it, being that he was a prominent psychiatrist and radio personality of the late 1980s and 1990s. So then, let's think about it this way. The word gift, by definition, means a notable capacity, talent, or endowment. So, ask yourself, what is the gift that I possess? Right? Most of the time, this is something that comes easy to you. This is something that you do that is hard for others, right? But it's not hard for you. When you think about it, one's ability to perform a task with ease, naturally, without much training is, I think, what I would consider a gift. But what good is a gift if it is never used to service others? Many young artists want to be renowned for their works. Many are gifted. Many have sacrificed orthodox lifestyles to pursue their art. They have devoted countless hours, spent money that they probably don't have, so that they can create gorgeous works, but yet still struggle for the awareness they desire. So you can ask yourself, well, why would this be, right? Like what is the trick? What is the missing ingredient to the recipe for success? In the world of art making, there are two general accepted avenues or paths, you can think of them that way as well, that artists can take. Now, the first is the path of making art, right? Now, this is usually the first and sometimes, most of the time, the only path that artists take. This is what we were just talking about. So this is where you create art in the hopes of selling said art, and then building awareness around your name, right? That personal brand of yours, in the hopes of getting commissions and expanding that art network, right? And the second path, this is the path that's less known because it takes a little bit more devotion to get to this point. But the path that's less taken by the masses due to a lack of devotion to the medium of choice is teaching how to make art, okay? Now, one of the reasons why this is not pursued by more of us is due to the fact that we only have so much time in a day, right? There's 24 hours in a day. If you follow a conventional lifestyle, you have to sleep for 8 of those hours, so we're down to 16. If you have a normal 40-hour-a-week job, you have to work for 8 more hours, right? So that only leaves you with 8 hours to yourself, because you have to sleep for 8, work for 8, and then if you have like a conventional life, let's say you have maybe some kids to take care of, or maybe you have chores, duties, things that you need to do to keep your life in order. So you take that 8 hours you have to yourself, divide that by 2. You then have only 4 hours that you can devote to your art. So you can see very quickly how time is very much against the artist, right? And that lifestyle, that mantra, if you will. So then, we find that a choice has to be made, okay? You can create or you can teach how to create. Very few can do both. And the reason why very few can do both is because there's only so much time in a day. If you do both, odds are you created art, right? You followed that first path of just making art, and then through the habituation of that, you grew your knowledge base, and then you elevated yourself to a point where you could then teach others how you create your art, right? Now, art making should be enjoyable. It should be an enjoyable venture. It shouldn't be a stressful one. And to try to walk both paths at once will spread you too thin. Trust me, I've tried it and it doesn't work. Stress will definitely ensue. Stress will definitely ensue. Now, I've walked both paths, obviously one at a time. I did the first path, and then I did the second path. And the latter, the second path, the path of teaching and servicing others, has brought more reward, definitely more reward, than simply creating art for commercial sale and to satisfy my ego. So then, taking the concept of value to others and applying it to both of these paths, what you will find is that the first path, where you make art to sell, it brings value, yes, but it only brings value to the buyer of, say, a specific piece of art that you make, right? And in the days of social media, right, because I understand we're very much living in what I like to call the age of the artist and digital portfolios, you may convey value to onlookers or fans, followers of your works, but even that, for a renowned artist, is minuscule. The value there is minuscule to the value that comes when you follow the path of teaching how to make art, right? When you teach others how to be better, right? How to be better versions of themselves than they were yesterday. Viscott, in his quote, said that the purpose of life is to give it away, right? Well, give it away in what sense? What does that look like? Well, to teach it. Teach others the fundamental principles of your medium of choice. And this applies to any art form, because the idea then is to provide value to those who may not be as advanced in a certain art medium as you are. Okay? So if you are gifted in the sense that you are endowed with natural talent, then that puts you in a perfect position to serve others, right? That is to say that you, through your gift of creating with ease, right, because it comes easy and natural to you, have a responsibility then to serve others and help elevate them to a level where they are satisfied with their works due to your selfless teachings, okay? Many artists will only ever walk the path of art making, right? That first path, the conventional path, as I like to call it. And that can be for many reasons, right? But few of us walk the path of teaching how to make art. Think to yourself, how can I add more value? How can I do more for others than anyone else on earth? Because if you can do that, then you have a solid foundation to build a brand, a company, a life with abundance, right? In Scripture, it says, if you wish to become great, learn to become a servant. If you can serve a large number of people at a deep level, then it's imminent that you will have faith, you will have self-confidence, and you will be successful in anything and everything that you do. You will have the life you want, right? All you have to do is add more value. If you enjoyed this cast, give it a like. It helps me out with the algorithm. And if you know someone who would benefit from this talk, definitely share it with them. And if you have any ideas on future topics for future casts, comment. I would love to hear your ideas. Stay happy, stay healthy, and remember, never stop drawing.